So let's discuss the state of play in this country, storm and political storm. Florida Democrat member of Congress Jared Moskowitz, also the former emergency management director in the state under Governor DeSantis, by the way. Good to see you.
Good to be with you, Chris.
Let me get a twofer with you, if you don't mind, Congressman. First of all, what do people need to know who are in that area, the level of evacuation, the opportunity to still get out? What do you want people to know?
Yeah, I think there's two things that's important. One, if you live in the flood zone that they're evacuating, whether that's A, B, or C, and they have evacuated those flood zones, you should leave. You should leave. If you didn't learn your lesson in Ian and you didn't learn your lesson in Helene, you should leave. You cannot survive the storm surge that is coming your way. It is about saving your life. I know traffic is inconvenient, but it is about saving your life. And you don't have to go hundreds of miles. You just got to go tens of miles inland. Go to a shelter, go to a friend's house, but get away if you're in those zones. Listen to your local emergency management director. Listen to Kevin Guthrie, the director of emergency management. Listen to the folks telling you to leave. That's number one. Number two is stop paying attention to exactly where this thing is going. This thing is wobbled all over the place. We saw it change in Ian. People thought that was going to be a Tampa storm, and it went south of Tampa. The same thing may happen here. So from Tampa to Collier County, right, from Tampa to Naples, pay attention. 60 or 70 miles here will make a big difference in that wobble. So those are the two things I think people should pay attention to, Chris.
Second point, of course, you're a Democrat. Of course, you're a member of the House, but you're a guy from Florida, and these are your people. Do you believe that people who were affected by Helene have been shortchanged by the Biden administration, who wants to give money for them to other places? Is that a fair criticism?
No, there's zero evidence of that, okay? Like, first of all, if there isn't money available, that's on Congress, okay? It was Congress who decided not to fund FEMA's DRF, the Disaster Relief Fund. I filed a bill, okay, and it didn't go anywhere. Now, the Speaker did put $10 billion forward in the first CR, but that failed. His political CR, which he tied to nonsense. When he came back with a clean CR, the Speaker is the one who stripped the $10 billion away from FEMA. Instead, what he did was he said, hey, FEMA, you can draw down your 2025 budget money early. Well, the problem is FEMA already had an $8 billion backlog. So take $8 billion out of that 20. And now you have an unprecedented disaster in Hurricane Helene, 5-state disaster. And now you have a Category 5 storm coming towards Florida. So to be clear, if there is a funding issue with SBA and FEMA, it is on Congress. And Congress knew about both of these things before they went on break.
Why isn't it that Biden could have given the money to these folks that he gave to migrants or to Lebanon or to anything else that's not these people that Americans may not like?
These are all different pots of money, Chris. I mean, why aren't we taking it from the commerce budget? Why aren't we taking it from FAA? You can't do those sort of things. It comes from the budget that you fund. This is not like, oh, we have two bank accounts. Why don't I just go on Bank of America and hit the transfer button? That's not how it works in government. There are lines of appropriation that then the executive branch has to follow. If there isn't money, and by the way, there is money available for both Helene and for Milton. They are drawing down FEMA the 2025 budget. There won't be money soon because they will have spent all of that. But if there isn't money, it's on Congress. It's on nobody else.
Gotcha. Last thing. Doesn't it seem weird that you get to chase Jews through the streets of New York because they hold up an Israeli flag and nobody really gets pissed off about it? Can you imagine if a pack, especially of light-skinned Jews, chased a bunch of brown kids down the street who were wearing keffiyehs and holding a Palestinian flag? Can you imagine how you would be getting beaten over the head about what your people were doing in this screwed up world of taking sides that we're in right now? How do you see it? You heard what I think.
Yeah, well, look, Jews are constantly told, and we hear this all the time, you can be anti-Israel without being anti-Semitic. And I would suggest that you can. You can criticize a government of any country, and you can criticize Israel without being anti-Semitic. The problem is these people just aren't. They are anti-Semitic. Okay, when those protests were going on college campuses, okay, and there were people outside saying, kill the Jews, kill the Zionists, go back to Poland, I didn't see a single student say, hey, I'm here to fight for the Palestinians, right, for humanitarian rights. I don't want to kill anyone. I'm not with these people. Not a single, you won't find a single video of a single student saying, I'm here to fight for the Palestinians, but the folks saying go back to Poland, not with me. You won't see it. So that's why this is happening.
But imagine if there were a bunch of guys that look like you, with names like you, and standing in the middle
every Jewish family
was a guy with a keffiyeh on with a bloody nose. Well, what do you think would happen?
Every Jewish family knew when the protests on college campuses going on and they were singling out a Jewish kid with a Jewish star, they didn't know it was his Israeli position. He was just Jewish. Every Jewish family knew if it was a bunch of white students wearing hoods, it wouldn't have gotten past lunchtime on the first day. They knew if they were circling a black kid and keeping them from going to class, it wouldn't have gotten past lunchtime on the first day. If they were doing it to a gay student, it wouldn't have gotten past lunchtime on the first day. Every Jewish family knew that. And they knew the double, triple, quadruple standard that we have lived for thousands of years was on full display at Columbia.
Is it fair to push back and say, yeah, you know why? Because you're too strong. Because Israel is David and Goliath. You beat everybody's ass every time that they exercise their anti-Semitism or their desire to move the boundary lines or remove your statehood. You destroy everybody. So you are David and Goliath. So there's a double standard. Is that a fair pushback?
No, I think your analysis earlier was true. I don't look like a minority. I don't fit into the minority bubble. Right? There's this there's this thing out there like all Jews are well off, right? They're all upper rich class, right? And I'm a white male, I'm privileged, right? And so that goes into this other narrative that we're not a minority. We don't deserve minority protection. Okay? And that's
You're not white.
why
You're not white, not yet. I thought that we had graduated together. One of the last jokes that my father told, and you know what a fan he was of Judaism and Jews. My adoptive godfather was a Lubavitcher Rebbe. One of the last jokes he ever told, Congressman, was he heard a line in a story about me that I'm sure was very flattering that said that I was a function of white privilege and how I had gotten to my position on television. And he went, wait a minute. Hot damn. Christopher made it. We're white. And for that generation of ethnics, that was the dream, to be just seen as other white people. And we thought the Jews had graduated with the Italians and we had moved from ethnics to now. It's not true. You're still Jews. And you may look like the privileged majority, but you're targeted and you don't get the protection of being a minority. You get it both ways.
Yeah, what a privilege, Chris. My grandmother and her sister were put into a rail car in Berlin, okay, and shipped off to live in another country during the Holocaust while her parents were killed in Auschwitz. What a privilege that was for the Jewish people. What a privilege it is for Jewish families to have to figure out where to send their kids to college, where it's safe. What a privilege.
I hear you. And that's why there is an importance, there is a need, I believe there is a requirement for people to call it for what it is and to be allies to the cause of freedom and justice as we are for every minority group. And you deserve that protection as well. And you will certainly get it on my watch at NewsNation. I promise you that. Congressman, stay safe down there. I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be in touch if I can help you get out the message, all right?
Thanks, Chris. You too.
And if I get in trouble, I may call you for help. So be ready. Answer the phone when you hear from me. Take care. All right. Now,